Okay, multiple choice in listening part 2 is a very common question type. And I'm going to tell you how to deal with this common question type. In part 2 of IELTS listening, 4 type of questions are very important. Most important, multiple choice, where out of 3 you have to select 1. Second most important is multiple choice, where out of 5 you have to select 2. And the third most important is matching. And the fourth one is maps. Okay, so these are the 4 important question types. Now, whenever there is multiple choice questions, they check your ability that you understand the right thing from mixed information. Like for example, if I say I'll give you one of these three things. First I talk about pencil, then I talk about this ball pen, then I talk about bottle. So you have to listen carefully, right? For example, if I say, well, first of all, I wanted to give you this pencil, but actually this pencil was gifted to me by my mother, so I don't want to give it to you. Then I thought of a pen, and I bought this red pen for you, but unfortunately it doesn't work properly. That is why I've decided to give you this water bottle. Answer is water bottle. So they will talk about all the things. It's not that they say pencil, you say answer. Okay, they say ballpoint, you say answer. Okay, so you have to listen and check whether that is the right thing or not. They will discuss all 3 options. For the most part, mostly they discuss all 3 options. Sometimes they leave out one option. And when I went back to Cambridge IELTS books 7 and 8, there they do another different thing. They don't discuss 2 wrong options. They only discuss 1 right option. Okay, so they may discuss all 3 options. They may leave out 1 option and discuss 2, right? And they may discuss all 3 options. And one more thing, they will not discuss about these options in the same order, A, B, C. No, it can be C, B, A. It can be CAB, it can be BAC, it can be ACB. So first you need to pick up that option, right? They will talk about it, and then you need to decide, is that the right answer or wrong? If it is the right one, tick. If it is the wrong one, cross. Elimination is the best way to deal with multiple choice questions. What is elimination? Wrong answer should be out. ABC, C can never be the answer. Right, now you are left with A and B. So I tell you practically, don't worry. So we've got this Onton Hall. Now Oniton or whatever they pronounce in the audio, don't worry. If there are unusual words, don't try to read them. Onton Hall, many past owners made changes too. Now made changes means they refurbished or they altered or they changed. Now there are 3 things: gardens, house, farm. Have you noticed one thing? I'm not reading it like A, the gardens, B, the house, C, the farm. Okay. All right. When garden and house, then farm. Just read the main word. It is gardens, house, farm. Now what's the question? The question is past owners made changes. If they, for example, if they say, although there was few small changes, but the gardens remained same. Gardens is not the right answer. If they say nobody decided or nobody ever thought of doing any sort of change to the house, it is as it was 200 years ago. It means they did not change anything. Answer is past owners made changes to. So where they made changes, if they made changes to gardens, garden is the answer. If they made changes to house, house is the answer. Otherwise, farm. Now, let's see. Question number 11.
You will hear a guide at a tourist attraction called Oniton Hall talking to a group of visitors.
Good morning and welcome to Oniton Hall, one of the largest estates in the area. My name's Nick and I'm one of the guides. I'll give you a brief introduction to the estate while you're sitting down, and then we'll walk round. The estate consists of the house, gardens, parkland and farm, and it dates back to the 14th century. The original house was replaced in the late 17th century, and of course it has had a large number of owners. Almost all of them have left their mark, generally by adding new rooms, like the ballroom and conservatory. or by demolishing others. The farm looks much as it's always done, although the current owner has done a great deal of work to the flower beds.
House? No. Gardens? No. Farm? No. Correct answer is house. I play it again. Now please focus. This time I'll stop the audio. Focus.
You will hear a guide at a tourist attraction called Oniton Hall talking to a group of visitors.
Good morning,
Now
and
listen.
welcome to Oniton Hall, one of the largest estates in the area. My name's Nick, and I'm one of the guides. I'll give you a brief introduction to the estate while you're sitting down, and then we'll walk round. The estate consists of the house, gardens, parkland, and farm, and it dates back to the 14th century. The original house was replaced in the late 17th century, and of course it has had a large number of owners. Almost all of them have left their mark.
Almost all of them have left their mark. They are talking about houses. Now what is that mark? Mark means अपनी निशानी छोड़ के गए.
Generally by adding new rooms.
By adding new rooms. So many past owners made changes to house by adding new rooms. Listen on.
Conservatory, or by demolishing others.
By demolishing others. So actually it's the house where past owners made changes to. And let's go on.
The farm looks much as it's always done, although the current owner has done a great deal of work to the flower beds.
The farm looks as it always does and all that. So they didn't do any change to the farm. They did all these changes to house by adding some new rooms and by demolishing. So correct answer is B. On your answer sheet, you will not write house. If you write house, your answer is wrong. You will write B. Let's go on. Question number 12. Sir Edward Downes built Oniton Hall because he wanted. Now, what do they mean by he? Edward Downes. Now, Edward Downes wanted something, and that is why he built Oniton Hall. Now, can you see a place for, a place for, a place to? These words are repeated. Just see, option is discussing politics. He built a house because he wanted to discuss politics. Option B, display his wealth. You know, sometimes you just display your wealth. You see, I आपको ड्राइंग रूम में लेके जाते हैं, वहाँ 2 लाख की LCD लगाई है. Okay, something like that. ये जनरेटर हमने पिछले हफ्ते लगवाया है. इसके अंदर होंडा का इंजन लगा हुआ है. Okay, something like that. So anyways, display his wealth and artists and writers. So Edward Downes built Oniton Hall because. Now why? There are 3 reasons. Reason number 1, discuss politics. Reason number 2, display wealth. Reason number 3, artists and writers could come and sit there and all that. Now let's see what's the purpose.
In the 17th century, the estate was owned by a very wealthy man called Sir Edward Downes. His intention was to escape from the world of politics after years as an active politician, and to build a new house worthy of his big collection of books, paintings and sculptures. He broke off contact with his former political allies and hosted meetings of creative and literary people, like painters and poets. Unusually for his time, he didn't care whether his guests were rich or poor, as long as they had talent.
Okay. C, well done. Place for artists. Now discussing politics? No. He left politics. Right? He disconnected with politics. So A can never be the answer. And B, place to display his wealth? No. He didn't care whether someone was rich or poor. So it's not even B. Correct answer is C. Well done. Let's go on. Question number 13. Visitors can learn about the work of servants in the past from. Now, from where visitors can learn the work of servants. Like, what is it that the servants did? So from which part of the house? For example, if they say like there are paintings, and from the these paintings were made by servants, something like that. So visitors can learn about the work of servants in the past from A, audio guides. Audio guides are like audio tours. Welcome to Sea Life Center. In this audio tour, I'm going to tell you about this center. This is called audio tour. Next, photographs. And C is people in costume. So visitors can learn about the work of servants in the past from. Okay, now for example, if they say the audio guides were recently made. So it's not the audio guides from where you can learn about the past. If they say the photographs date back 200 years, or the photographs are from 17th century and they tell you about past life and all that. So it's going to be one of these three things. Now please listen.
Big houses like Oniton had dozens of servants until the 1920s or 30s, and we've tried to show what their working lives were like. Photographs, of course, don't give much of an idea. So instead, as you go round the house, you'll see volunteers dressed up as 19th century servants going about their work. They'll explain what they're doing and tell you their recipes or what tools they're using. We've just introduced this feature to replace the audio guide we used to have available.
C, people in costume. And about photographs, what did he say? Let's listen to it again.
Big houses like Oniton had dozens of servants until the 1920s or 30s, and we've tried to show what their working lives were like. Photographs, of course, don't give much of an idea.
Photographs don't give much of an idea. Cross photographs. Now you are left with two options, okay? Now he's going to come to people in costume.
So instead, as you go round the house, you'll see volunteers dressed up as 19th century servants.
Volunteers dressed up in 19th century costumes. So people in costume. Right, just let's go back.
You'll see volunteers dressed up as 19th century servants.
Yeah, dressed up as 19th century servant means people in costume.
Going about their work.
Yeah.
They'll explain what they're doing and tell you their recipes or what tools they're using. We've just introduced this feature to replace the audio guide.
To replace the audio guide. Audio guide is not there anymore. Now they have this feature, servants, and they dressed up in that. So audio guide is even not the right answer. Got it? When you eliminate two wrong choices, you will find the right answer. Let's go on. Question number 14. What is new? Underline the word new. For new, they can use the word recent. Right? New, recent. What is new for children at Oniton Hall? Now, what is it that is new for children in Oniton Hall? Clothes for dressing up. Underline the word clothes. Mini tractors. For mini tractors, they can say small tractors that children can drive. And C, adventure playground. So they will say, for example, if they say, we already had mini tractors for children, and that was one of the prominent features. And along with that, we had clothes for dressing up. But a recent feature is this adventure playground, which, or something like that, okay? So the question is new. They will talk about two options as old, as they already exist. And then they will talk about one option which they have recently started, or they use the word recently inaugurated. Let's see what that is.
I see there are a number of children here with you today. Well, we have several activities specially for children, like dressing up in the sorts of clothes that children wore in the past. And as it's a fine day, some of you will probably want to play in the adventure playground. Our latest addition is child-sized tractors that you can drive around the grounds.
Okay, our latest addition, child-sized tractors, mini tractors and child-sized tractors. So latest and new, they are the same words. Clear about multiple choice questions? But this is multiple choice question in part 2. When they come in part 3, they're a little more horrible. But don't worry, we'll solve them as well.